to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will.
Yes, indeed. Forget all your differences and let me and you start to build Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. I want to welcome you to the hub. Again, another opportunity that you and I have to converse, to talk, to speak about what is happening here in our country. A lot of good things continue to happen for Grenadians home and abroad. We are working extremely hard to break that cycle where all you see is negative, negative, negative. You complain, you complain, you complain. What we are doing is highlighting the good things that are taking place in our beautiful homeland. And I think we are winning that PR mission, because I had the opportunity today to look at a piece with Roland Bowler and the NNP on MTV on their Facebook page. And boy, Grenadians are fed up with Keith Mitchell and the NNP. Any one of them. Once they come forward, Grenadians are ready to express openly, to vent, to let them know that they were there for 23 years and a half. And to come now and complain and not praise this government for the many good things that they have done, the NNP continue to come last. I mean, the comments under that particular news item say a lot to me and you and the folks who are, because there are people who normally just go to read the comments on the programs, on the news items. Boy, Grenadians are fed up with Keith Mitchell and the NNP. And no matter what they do and what they say, they are not able to break through with the Grenadian people. And that is very clear. And if you're a politically astute person, if you're a politically savvy person, if you believe in numbers, data, and you follow certain podcasts, certain programs, you will get a sense of the feel of the Grenadian people. For me, as I go around Grenada, the amount of people who will call me, the amount of people who will applaud me, the amount of people who would commend me, embrace me, give to me, it says a lot about the political atmosphere in the country. It's a good cue for anybody who is politically savvy. If Sheldon Scott, or if Prince James, or if Mosquito Man, or if Jenny Simon, or if Carl Caton or Kabia, any of them, walk the street, Shaggy or any one of them, walk the street, people don't recognize them. They don't even know them, right? And they could care less about them. But if I walk the street, no matter where I go, it could be in St. Andrew, St. Patrick, St. Mark, St. John, St. Carriacou, everywhere, St. George, the Grenadian people embrace me. They express good, positive energy. They commend me, they applaud me, they would tell me they're listening to the program, they follow the program. It says a lot. And then when you read the comments, when the NNP do their releases and they press this and they press that, they press us, right? It's really negative towards them. So Grenadians are getting the message that this administration has done more than the NNP. In 14 months, the NDC administration has done way more for the Grenadian people than the NNP in 23 years and a half. But tonight, I want to play for you a number of pieces because that is what would solidify that conversation that you must have in your house, on the street corner, and everywhere else. I told you, parents are extremely happy with the free tuition for TAMCC and NULO. Parents are happy because $810 is a lot of money for the parents of Grenada, Carriacou, and the PT Martinique. They had to find that money to send their child or children to college. The government, the NDC administration, decided to remove that, absorb that cost, pay for it. So the government is paying that cost. This is a big thing. It's huge. But you know what is amazing? The NNP is criticizing that. The NNP is angry because they believe these young people, they are voters or they will soon be voters, and that might mean, no vote for the NNP from that demographic. That is why they're angry. They're not concerned about the education of these young people. They're concerned about getting back into power. The NNP wants to get back into power. They don't care about these young people. But the NDC administration, they care about these young people. They want them to get a good education, to grow up and be independent, to get a good job. That is what the NDC wants for the young people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. But what is also very telling, the amount of young people who showed up to register, to go into college. They have never seen it like that. The amount of young people. It all goes well for Grenada. But the reason why the numbers are so high is because of the free tuition that the government initiated. But a friend told me today, the NNP complaining, they vex that the government decided to remove this $810 or the $750 from NULO, the $810 from TAMCC. And they vex. And they also, NNP is also demanding, saying, well, you remove the free tuition, why not remove the $30 to register and remove the $45 at the t-shirt and remove the 150 IT support or administrative cost and for the IT support and so on, because once you're in college, everything is more or less online, so they need to have that kind of money to make sure that is on top of that they have the human resource to do that work. So hear what the person said to me. But if the NNP was in power for 23 years and a half, why didn't they remove just the $30 for a start? The NNP never had the vision to remove the tuition of $810. But the person is saying, well, They're complaining that the NDC removed the $810 tuition for the students. Why didn't the NNP in their 23 years and a half remove the $30 registration fee? Because the NNP did not remove anything. They never had the vision to remove anything for the young people, the students of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So the person is saying, well, they're complaining. Ask them, why didn't you remove the $30 at least? And then you could talk. Why didn't you remove the $30 registration fee or the $150 IT support fee, or as they say, administrative / IT and so on? Why didn't you remove that? But they never had the vision. NNP is only fit to complain, grind and groan. That's all. They have no vision. And they don't believe in education. They don't believe that education is liberation. But folks, I want to show you, and well, those on radio you will hear, but those on those on YouTube and Facebook you will actually see.
Prospective students turned out in their numbers at the T.A. Marisho Community College for the first day of registration on Monday. Registrar at the college, Marva Bowen Neptune, during an interview with our news team, reported an influx of applications, which she attributes to the removal of tuition fees at the institution.
What we see now is influx of applications because, of course, with the free tuition, students are now realizing it is very affordable, so they are applying now. And we also seen that now that they have the results, they're able to get into the programs. Sometimes they don't want to apply unless they know they met the requirements. Some students don't want to apply into the other programs because they really want to do the associate degree.
The registrar also used the opportunity to speak about the registration process, which will run throughout the week.
All students who sit the CSEC exams and students who sit it maybe previous years and they want to attend TAMCC, they can come in this week. We're here from Monday to Friday from 9 to 3 p.m. We can do next week, but we wouldn't have that formal setup. The students can apply into TAMCC for late registration up to 2 weeks into the semester.
Bowen Neptune says there are some prerequisites needed to successfully apply.
You must have 5 subjects, including English, to be accepted into the associate degree programs. However, we want students to understand, or prospective students to understand, that if they do not have the 5 subjects, including English, they can get into other programs as well. So we have 1-year certificate program that they can apply to, and then while they're in this program, they can work on the deficient subject or subjects, and by next year, they can get into the associate degree program.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hoston.
Yes, so again, the young people, they have opportunities now, and I'm happy for them. And it's because of the free tuition support from the government of Grenada. And we have to give the government credit. You know, some people seldomly give the government the credit that they deserve. Look at the amount of young people who are in that particular line. They want to be a part of the whole learning process, thanks to the NDC.
In June, this policy decision was in discussion and nothing was concrete as yet, although we knew something of it. And so those of them who paid, we will have to find some way to rectify or smooth it out. So all of the trainees or the who will be attending from September will benefit from this policy. But most of them have paid the $265. So this is the administration fee. The first term fee the registration fee, the workbook, and so on. That's what it covers.
So
And
students
so,
that's returning for like second year and so they get to benefit from this tuition removal as well?
no, so it's only the first, only this September term. And every September, we usually have a big intake. I think this time we have over 300 people applying. We could only take 100 plus. And so now that people are hearing about these new fees, I imagine come January, we'll have another big number. And he begs to ask you the question, where are these young people coming from? And it means that we have to invest in them because they are the movement. They would be the movers and shakers for Grenada, and we have to invest in them. We welcome this policy decision. This is great news for us, and not just for us, but for the young people who will benefit from these funds, because the tuition fee for NULO for 1 year is $750. And this is, as we know, skills training is very expensive. And this is $750, which the trainee can spend on maybe the tools, maybe the CVQ, or even the transportation or meals, or if they stay in the NULO residence. This is some extra money that they will have in their hand. And just to hasten to add that we have many trainees who had left NULO owing fees. And as it is, NULO don't turn away anybody. And we try not to deprive anybody from getting an education, getting a skill to go out there to make it better for them. So this policy decision, we thank the government and also for choosing us as well. We really do appreciate that. So NULO is the most sought out institution. And you know, long ago, even before NULO existed, Grenada was also on this path where young people went to get a skill done, but people were not there yet. They didn't see it down the road, and so people were trashed about because they did skills. NULO, however, didn't just rise up. We did a lot of promotion. The management of NULO, the director, the board, and so made a conscious decision to put things in place so that NULO can come up to standard. And not just that, as the world go, we have to grow with them. So we are all the skills are certified by the National Training Agency, and so all of them we do level 1 and level 2, but mostly level 2 at level 2 CVQ level, and so business people sought out our trainees. And the hallmark for us is that we have a program called the Adolescent Development Program. That's our life skills program. Because when a young person come, they really, some of them don't know even their names properly. They don't know what they want to do. They have anger issues. They just come and to see what. Some of them, their parents chose for them. And some of them, they do want to come. And so when they come into NULO and the friends see the success they have, because one of the components, so it's not just skills training, we have life skills, practical skills, literacy, IT, technical drawing, all of these go together with the skill for one fee. Really and truly, I mean, it's NULO is like a giveaway, right? You know, we are an NGO, we do need funds, but at the same time, we try not to deprive anybody, so we welcome everybody to come in and to get this skill. And as we say financially, this is a big step, and this is a big cutoff. This which will help families and so on. I mean, it's not enough, of course, but it's a big chunk that will really, really go a long way for that young person.
Yes. 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 This is a big thing. This is big for TAMCC, and it's big for NULO, and it's big for the young people who will benefit from this. And I saw today how happy a parent was when she said to me she had 3 children, 2 going to TAMCC and 1 going to NULO. And she said to me, you could imagine, Kim, the money she's saving with the removal of the tuition that cost This is big, you know. The NNP is angry, they bitter. And if you ask me, they're ashamed of the fact that this young team of men and women can come and within 14 months introduce this visionary idea that materialize. It's now reality. NNP never had that vision because they are bankrupt of ideas and vision. That is why the Grenadian people kicked them out and voted them out. So they are ashamed. And you know, it takes maturity to acknowledge that the NDC administration is doing a fantastic job. And this move is this move is kicking the ball out of the park. This is big. This is huge. This is gigantic. The NNP cannot accept that. This is good for Grenada. This is good for the young people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So why not accept this is good? But you have the NNP out there saying, well, if you could remove tuition support, remove the $30 registration fee, remove the cost of the t-shirts that the students have to wear, give them money to pay for bus, give them money to pay for lunch or to buy lunch, give them everything, give them bag, give them shoes, give them. That is how the NNP is thinking, you know. But the NNP has been there for 23 years and a half. They did not have the vision, the foresight to give them a shoes or to pay the $30 registration fee. But they criticizing the government, they vex the government is investing in the education of the young people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. But this is a promise made and a promise kept. The NDC is serious about the promises they made to the Grenadian people during the campaign. They won the election and they are fulfilling their promises with the Grenadian people. That is a government that you can trust. That is a team of men and women that you can believe in, because when they say they will do something, they actually doing it. They will do it. You can have confidence in them. But I want to go further. I want to say to you, the NNP is acting like obstructionists. They're enemies of progress. They don't want you to prosper. They don't want you to have a good education. They don't want you to be better off. They don't want you as a parent to be paying less, so the burden will be less on you. They don't want that for you. They want you to be poor and vulnerable, because they created that industry over 23 years and a half. The NNP created the industry called the poor and the vulnerable. They make these people poor and they keep them poor and destitute, which is sad, because if you look at the people who are speaking for the NNP, they are filthy rich. If you look at the big boys within the NNP, they are rich. They are filthy rich, which is really sad, because most of the followers, most of the supporters are very poor or very vulnerable. But I am happy because the NDC administration is serious about our patrimony. The NDC administration is serious about our lands. The NDC administration has always demonstrated high patriotism. They don't give away our lands. They're not sellouts, right? You remember the land where this hotel sits? That's the Radisson Hotel. Radisson, is it Radisson Beach Resort? That hotel there in Grand Anse, I think it's about 20-something acres of land. And the NNP, one day before the election, gave away that land to somebody who they say will market Grenada, who will promote Grenada. The individual is not a born Grenadian, and not only that, his grandfather, that's a Grenadian, not his father. But not only that, people, I saw the said individual on the TV, and he was not carrying a Grenadian flag or scarf around his neck. His dog was carrying a Grenadian scarf around his neck. His dog, right? And look, I'm a dog lover. I have dogs. But I'm only saying that to say to you, that is really what we get for this kind of prime land. But this government decided we're not going down that road. We're taking back that land. We're acquiring that land. We're taking that land back and put it in the hands of the Grenadian people. That is patriotism. And as we move towards 50 years of independence, that is a reason to celebrate. Not only that property, Remember, the NNP administration had some bacchanal, some melee. In fact, we heard from a certain individual all kinds of racial slur against the investor, where Flamboyant Hotel once stood. Now you have the Kiwana Bay Resort, right? And I'm telling you, it's a really good project. So they fell out with the individual. The individual decided, well, look, I'm taking this whole thing to the international court. And the NNP administration has a history of losing, losing, losing. And they were about to lose. They bound to lose. But this administration saw it as prudent to engage the developer and see how we can compensate, pay, come to a settlement, get the property in the Grenadian people's hands. And then it can go to a private developer, a private person, because, government is not good at running these kind of stuff. We know what happened with a particular hotel that the government once owned, right? So you have to pass it into the hands of a private developer or company or so. That's important. So I want to play that for you tonight because I think it's a good rallying call for patriotic Grenadians, a good rallying cry for our people. Very important as we march towards 50 years of independence.
Act 2023, by which we seek approval for an additional $148,990,234 to support the work and agenda of the government in the existing budget period. Madam President, my colleagues have ably debated the bill in many respects already, so I would just take a few moments to highlight a few matters, particularly in relation to votes 20 and 30, and then perhaps some general comments otherwise. Madam President, I speak in relation to vote 20. That's the requested appropriation under the Ministry of Finance. There, Madam President, item 048561, acquisition of assets and investments, I would like specifically to address this matter. Madam President, years ago in the period before the revolution, even before I was born, government of Grenada, mainly under Sir Eric Gairy, adopted a policy by which prime real estate remained the property of the people of Grenada. And in particular, the real estate on which one of the world's top beach rests was particularly protected by successive governments in that they ensured that the lands in the Grand Anse area, and particularly on Grand Anse Beach, remained the property of the people of Grenada. That all fell apart from around 1995 and continued when we were literally not sold out, but given away. Our prime assets, our prime real estate all over Grenada, and particularly on Grand Anse Beach, was given away. We got, in most instances, almost nothing in return. And by giving away our prime assets, we became a poorer nation. So just as individuals were made to become and remain poor and vulnerable, and that carried around as some kind of badge of honor, so too our nation became poor and vulnerable because our assets, our things of value were given away. In local parlance, we were sold out. They sell us out. We, this administration, Madam President, hold fast to the position and policy adopted by our leaders prior to 1995. That valuable real estate in this country must remain the property of the people of this country. And so, Madam President, there are just under about 27 or 28 acres of land in total on Grand Anse Beach that was transferred to private non-nationals. The private non-nationals. Freehold. The freehold was transferred. Because prior, how the prior governments ensured that the property belonged to us while we enjoyed the benefit of it is that whoever had use and possession of the property had a lease. They leased those properties and paid a rent to the government and people of Grenada. So in the case of the property on which the Radisson Hotel rests, the owner of the hotel has a lease because the property belonged to we the people. One day before the 2008 general elections, that property, the freehold interest in that property was transferred to a private individual. Well, let me be correct. Let me be precise in what I say. To a company owned and managed by a private individual. And the conveyance is notorious. It's notoriously known because a lot of shame was cried upon a government that less than 24 hours before an election signed a conveyance in which not one dime, not $1 was transferred to our treasury for that 20 acres of land. The consideration was a promise that a world-renowned athlete or sportsman would promote Grenada. And in the conveyance, there wasn't sufficient specifics. What this sportsman was required to do wasn't specified enough so as to enforce that agreement. That was supposed to bring value to us, but not $1 went to our treasury. And with that transfer of the freehold, that company became the landlord, collecting $250,000 a year. That $250,000 was previously collected by the people of Grenada as rent. So we lost that property. And there was an attempt by the previous NDC administration between 2010 and 2012 to reclaim that property. And the matter was challenged in court, and the property returned to the private entity, a company named Tyneberg Holdings. We, this government, have entered into an agreement with Tyneberg Holdings, and now I cast no aspersions or say anything negative on the company and its owners, because it's a commercial deal. If you're doing a deal and you get a good deal, you take the deal. You get a bargain, you run with it. So the blame was on the government that one day before the election entered into that transaction, which was totally disadvantageous to us. So this government, Madam President, has entered into an agreement with Tyneberg Holdings to purchase, to get back that property for the people of Grenada. And we have already paid the deposit. The nation would note that there were some publications in the Gazette indicating an acquisition. But I am happy to report to the nation that the negotiations with Tyneberg got to a stage where we felt we had to acquire the property. But notwithstanding the acquisition or the publication of the notice, the discussions continued, and then the parties agreed to do a sale. So what I say to the people of Grenada, that property would be returned to the people of Grenada with absolutely no risk of there being a challenge to the acquisition of us having, again, gotten ownership of the property. So that matter is closed, and the purchase price, $5 million US, is included in the 60 million allocation under vote 20. We had to negotiate the best deal that we could to get back the property. $5 million US, that's the cost. That's the cost of recklessness and, frankly, misbehavior in public office by our previous administration. That's the cost. That's the best deal we could get. But the property will soon, again, belong fully to Grenadians, 20 acres. Madam President, the other property that is where Flamboyant Hotel on the other end of Grand Anse, Flamboyant Hotel rested. Again, the nation will recall the absolute disgusting and frankly racist and xenophobic comments made by our former Prime Minister in this honorable house against an investor with whom the government had fallen out. They enter into bad deals, and business people are business people. They will look for the best deal they can get. And then relations broke down, and the investor behind the Kiwana Bay project exited Grenada and sued Grenada before ICSID. Well, you know, we don't have luck in ICSID because we lost the Grenlec case magnificently. And this one, we probably would have lost again because, you know, those awful comments made by the former Prime Minister, of course, they found their way into the arbitration documents before ICSID, not making us look good. But there were deeper issues than that, and on assuming office, we felt it best to engage respectfully into negotiations with the owners of the Kiwana Bay project. And we are happy to report to the nation and to this Honorable House that we have essentially reached a settlement. We have reached an agreement with the Kiwana Bay principals that will be consummated during the course of this week, before this week is up. The agreement will be consummated. And that agreement will, again, see the Kiwana Bay property, just over 5 acres of land on the far end of Granite Beach, again coming back to the people of Grenada. We will once more own that property. Because, and the conveyances are there, they are public records at the Deeds and Land Registry. Again, we owned the freehold in that property. The owners of Flamboyant, who by the way were locals, Grenadians, had a lease. But in 2016, the government transferred the freehold to True Blue Bay, which is a property owned by Mr. Newfield. And in transferring, again, nothing went into our treasury at the time of the freehold transfer, in rare terms, because what happened, there was a conveyance and a mortgage. Essentially, government loaned the True Blue company money to buy the property from us. So government advanced them the money, they take the same money from us, and then they bought the property from us. And it was a real good deal. It was only $3.5 million. So that's the kind of recklessness we're talking about in government. That's the kind of bad deals we're trying to undo now. So there will be a sum out of the 60 million allocated to settling the arbitration before ICSID, because we don't want to spend our time fighting legal battles out there when we have a country to build. And so the ICSID arbitration will be settled, and the property will be transferred back to the people of Grenada. Madam President, the government will also acquire the old Cable and Wireless building on the Carenage. And there is an allocation of about $4.8 million EC to acquire that property, and to be used by the Royal Grenada Police Force. Also, Madam President, included in this $60 million is allocation to acquire 89 acres of land at Calavini and we are acquiring this from a local. I like to make that distinction because we don't sell out. So we are acquiring this from a local, and the purpose of acquiring this 89 acres of land is to construct our new state-of-the-art teaching hospital. As as we have prioritized healthcare and all aspects of healthcare as one of our pillars of transformation. And the total price for this property would be 35 million EC dollars. It averages just around $8 a square foot. So we again negotiated a good deal. $8 a square foot. And we will have to pay the company from which we are purchasing this property half at this point, and then half, the remaining half, over a period of time. So again, the 15 million upfront payment is allocated for in that $60 million tag there. There are some other small properties which, based on the stage at which we are in the negotiation, again in the Grand Anse area, because we are intent on doing right by the people of Grenada and making sure we return that prime real estate to the people. And then we will take steps to ensure that never again our people will be sold out. We will take steps to ensure that going forward, when we are finished serving and others come after us, they will not find it so easy to sell out the people. Because when you have assets, when you have real estate, you have wealth. And we can't make the whole nation poor and vulnerable by giving away and selling out its prime assets. So after we've done the exercise of protecting and reclaiming, well, let me say reclaiming first, reclaiming our patrimony, we will ensure we take steps to protect our patrimony and to keep it safe in the hands of the people going forward. Madam President.
Right, so folks, you heard it there. You heard it there, loud and clear. Grenada is moving forward. And that is patriotism on display, because we had a government here for 20-something years, and they were giving away, they were selling our prime properties and just giving away everything to people who were close to them many a times. But here you have a government who is taking these things back and putting it in the hands of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, and we're not selling it. All right? That's what I love about this. So your your grandchildren, your children, everybody, they could, at least say they have a stake there. That's important. Very, very important. And that is where our country is at, The level of maturity, the level of transformation, it's happening. Some people want to play as though they don't know, but it's happening very, very fast. I want to, at this point, play a little ad for the NDC chapter out there in Florida. They have a gala coming up.
Grenadians and friends of Grenada in South Florida, our beloved political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, is coming to celebrate with us at a grand gala on Saturday, October 14th at the luxurious Floridian Ballroom in Pembroke Pines. The occasion will mark the first anniversary of the NDC Florida chapter. Prime Minister Mitchell will be delivering the keynote address outlining his vision for the development of our beautiful tri-island state. Meet and greet the distinguished Caribbean leader. The gala starts at 7 p.m. with a cocktail hour followed by dinner and dance. Tickets to the gala is only $200 and are available from any member of the NDC Florida chapter or online at gotofed.com. Proceeds towards the construction of the party's resource center and other programs of the chapter. So get your tickets now for the NDC Florida chapter inaugural gala, October 14th at the Floridian Ballroom, Pembroke Pines, Florida. You can't afford to miss it.
Right. So again, don't miss that gala. Don't miss that gala at all. And I'll tell you some more about that as we move closer towards that date. All right. Florida, our beloved Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, will be coming your way. Please buy up the tickets, and I'll play that ad from time to time. All right. So I want to big up the folks of that chapter. They're doing a fantastic job. That's Leslie McQueen. I want to big you up. You're the chairperson of that chapter. The secretary, Nikita Trisha Campbell. Right? She's the secretary of that chapter, and the PRO is Chris Hall. Big up all the whole self and all the other members of the chapter. Okay? So Florida chapter comes alive again with a big event, a big gala, very, very soon. And I really love that. All right? It's October, the 14th of October, Saturday, the 14th of October. So, folks, it is very clear that the NNP is afraid of a liberated mind. A person who is educated is liberated. And the NDC is liberating our people, giving them the opportunity to bloom and blossom, to be a productive citizen. Let me now play for you a little positive news again.
Power tillers and water pumps were distributed to over 100 farmers during a ceremony at the Chinese mission headquarters at Lasalle St. David. Machine operators educated farmers on the proper assembly, operation and maintenance of the power tillers, which is important in ensuring the optimal performance of the tools. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Land, Fisheries and Cooperatives is Aaron Francois.
A lot of land that is, not under production. We need to bring back those lands into production. And giving out those pumps and those power tillers today is part of the process of helping you, giving you the means to produce more.
The power tillers and water pumps were distributed among farmers in the western, northern, southern and eastern districts. Acting Chief Extension Officer Lawrence St. Louis earnestly urged farmers to utilize the tools for the enhancement of the agricultural sector.
And you are the vanguards of the people who are standing in the way of us being from starvation and having food. And having nutritious food is something that we will always need, regardless of the situation, regardless of the advances in technology, regardless of everything else. We will always need food. And that means we will always need our farmers. And so the Ministry of Agriculture is very, very excited and very, very happy to be able to assist you and to incentivize you in this manner so that your production will be much easier and much more effective and much more efficient as you go along.
Farmer Anne Regis from Regis Farm and Cassava Company expressed her gratitude and emphasized that the pump will significantly contribute to increased production during the dry season.
It will give me that incentive to produce more and also to produce more to the market, right? Especially in the dry season. I appreciate that to help me during that time, because at that time, sometimes I have a kind of stagnant for the water and for the produce.
Sally Gilberry, who received one of the tillers, highlighted the substantial impact it would have on her farm by efficiently turning over the soil.
Well, it helped us a lot because we did like to do a short crop and we have to regularly turn over the ground to put down new crops. So it will help us a lot in that way. Thank you very much. It's a big help. I didn't expect to be able to get a tiller, so I was quite surprised, and we're happy to get this.
The power tillers and water pumps were procured through Cartitas Internationalis, a global coalition for more than 160 Catholic relief, development and social service organization spanning over 200 countries. MTV News, Donessa Pancho.
The government has indicated their priority areas: agriculture, education, healthcare. And you realize they actually will be purchasing the lands. So they already reached that agreement. The costing, they will pay 15 million and then pay the balance sometime down the road, but they will have ownership of the land to start the process to build the teaching hospital facility that will be a big thing for our Grenadian brothers and sisters. And I will be talking about that as we move along, because a teaching hospital facility will turn things around for our people. Instead of the students going back to the United States or the United Kingdom to do the practical training and so on to become a doctor, they can stay right here and do that. Specialist doctors would have to be there, and they would be operating and doing stuff with real people, our people who have surgeries and other things to do. So again, that's a big thing for us, and I want to commend the government. So they're moving towards building that teaching hospital facility. Well, agriculture, every week you're hearing something happening in agriculture. Education, every week you're hearing something happening in education. Healthcare, same thing. So more and more people are given towards healthcare in the diaspora and here at home. The government, the Minister of Health is doing an excellent job, a fantastic job. He's my very good friend, and he's doing a magnificent job. Look, it can't be perfect, but we are working towards getting to that point. So, folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best. Take good care. Have a wonderful night. I will be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the a.m. Take good care. Bye.